ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we are in the context of this Karma Yoga. In the last class we saw that Karmanistha and Jnananistha, we saw these two things, the difference between these two things. Different words were used by Shankaracharya to explain the difference between them. That is, Karmanistha is an upaya or a strategy. Jnananistha is the upeya, that is what you attain by that strategy. Karmanistha is a sadhanam. Sadhanam is a tool. Then sadhyam, that is the means. The sadhanam is the means and ends. What is the end? End is that jnananistha. Then another word was used, hetu. Karmanistha is a hetu, that is the cause, and this is the effect. So different words were used to explain that Karmanistha is a preparatory stage. It is basically purificatory in nature. It purifies the mind of a sadhaka or a seeker, and then it makes him eligible or entitled to get this Jnananistha. So Karmanistha does not directly lead you to moksha, but Jnananistha is a direct, it can directly lead you to moksha. So Karmanistha is a sort of preparatory stage or a stepping stone. So that is what we saw. Now we stopped where Yajñodanam tapascheva pavanani manishinam ityadi pratipadishyati. We stopped there. Next line we have to see. Here there is a small, let us read this line. Nanucha abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dattva नैष्कर्म्यमाचरेत् इत्यादौ कर्तव्यकर्मसन्न्यासादपि नैष्कर्म्यप्राप्तिं दर्शयति. Okay, nanu, wherever this nanu comes, you have to immediately realize that there is a purva paksha. Nanu is, okay, you are saying like this, but what will you say to my present argument? So that is the meaning of nanu. What is the purva paksha here? Earlier it is by by doing karmanistha you graduate to jnananistha, and then from jnananistha you attain moksha. That was the step suggested. But there are certain statements which say that even by karma sannyasa you get naishkarmyam. There are certain statements which say that even by karma sannyasa you get naishkarmyam. And even in the world, even according to a popular perception, naishkarmyam means not doing any action, so that you are not attached to the result of anything. So that is the popular perception also. So that is the purva paksha here. Nanucha abhayam sarvabhutebhyo dattva naishkarmyam acharet. So this is this is told in the context of a sannyasi. There are what are called sannyasa shrutulu, sannyasa shruti. Sannyasa shruti means some shruti where sannyasa smrutis also, where certain smrutis or shrutis, they describe what exactly is the code of conduct for a sannyasi. Sannyasi, first of all, he has to declare. There are certain Upanishads also relating to sannyasa ashrama, where it is the sannyasi is supposed to say abhayam sarvabhutebhyo mattaha swaha, something like that. Some mantra is there, abhayam sarvabhutebhyo mattaha. That is, from my side there is abhaya, fearlessness to all beings. Abhayam sarvabhutebhya, for all the beings from my side there is abhaya. That means this man, he has no friend or foe. He does not like or dislike anything. All things are his friends only. You cannot say he has no friends at all. It does not mean that he avoids everything. But then whatever he looks at everything as a Brahman only. So when he looks at everything as Brahman, then he looks at everything as himself only. When he looks at everything as Brahman, he is looking at everything as himself only. And naturally one actually likes himself. So which means he likes all things. So that is how we have to interpret. Not that he totally dislikes everybody, he sits totally I mean, isolated or insulated in some cave or something like that. It's not like that. Even if he is moving among people, from him, absolutely no fear for anything, for any being. Even if there is a snake or something, so he avoids them and goes away. In a practical sense, he should not say it is my friend, but then he will avoid and go away, but then he will not try to harm it. So, abhayam sarvabhutebhyah. So, that is the promise made by a sannyasi when he takes that sannyasa ashramam. Abhayam sarvabhutebhyo datva naishkarmyam acharet. So, there again, that particular smriti, where is that line from? Does your book say anything? Ashwamedha Parva. Yeah, that Ashwamedha Parva, it talks about that. So, there, that is the code of conduct for a sannyasi. Abhayam. So there it is said that by doing this karma sannyasa, you are attaining naishkarmyam. Then he also says, lokecha karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam iti prasiddhataram. Prasiddhataram. This word means it is better known. Prasiddha is famous. Prasiddhataram is more famously known. Or famously is better thing. More famously known that what? Lokecha karmanam anarambhat naishkarmyam. By not taking up karma, by not taking up any activity, you are attaining naishkarmya. Initially he told about a sannyasi. The sannyasi, by not taking up any karma, by giving, abhayam to all beings, naishkarmyam, by doing this naishkarmyam, so he is attaining everything. So then Nityadav Kartavya Karma Sanyasadapi Naishkarmya Praptim Darshayati. Kartavya Karma Sanyasadapi means that is Kartavya Karma is what? A duty which is enjoined on you, a duty which you are bound to do by virtue of playing a particular role in the society. Every person plays a particular role in the society, and according to that role, the society, or let us say the religion, whatever religion it is, all religions naturally, they do or they enjoin on a person playing a particular role, some duties. If you are a father, it gives some duties. If you are a son, it enjoins on you some duties. If you are a mother, there are some duties. If you are a teacher, there are some duties. If you are some religious teacher, you have some other duties. If you are a leader, you have some other duties. So like that, if you are a citizen, there are some other duties. I was telling that there are two things in society. One is a law which is enforceable, and there is something above that, ethics, which is not enforceable. This law which is enforceable is enforced by whom? Enforced by police, courts, etc. That is called the criminal and civil justice. Beyond that is the ethical level, where there is no question of enforcing. It is only left to your own conscience. Every man's conscience is his own judge. You are supposed to respect your parents. You are supposed to respect your guru. You are supposed to follow a code of conduct according to dharma, that is giving some donations, some feeding poor, and then doing some socially useful things. These are all certain things which are told at a higher level. Nobody can enforce. Nobody can force you to feed some poor people. Nobody can force you to do some other good deed. So these are certain things where your own conscience is the witness or a judge. So these two levels. But then Kartavya Karma Sanyasadapi Naishkarmya Siddhi. Kartavya Karma is the duty which is enjoined on you. Not merely the law, not merely at the legal level, but at a higher level, at the ethical level. That is Kartavya Karma Sanyasa. Sanyasadapi Naishkarmya Praptim Darshayati. Lokecha, even in the world, Loke means in the world, that is more popularly, the popular perception is also that Karmana Manarambhat Naishkarmyam. By not taking up any karma, this Naishkarmya you will attain. That is the Prasiddha Taram. It is more famously known. Tara, Tama. There are two pratyayas in Sanskrit. Tara means better. Tama means best. Prasiddha Taram is better known. Prasiddha Tama, best. That is the best thing. That is the final. That is the beyond that there is nothing. So super positive, comparative, and superlative. That is a superlative degree. Prasiddha Tara is a comparative degree. Next line. Atascha Naishkarmyarthinah Kim Karmarambhena iti Praptam. So then, as a result of this argument of this Purvapakshi, what is the argument? So even what is this? Naishkarmyarthinah Kim Karmarambhena. For a person who wants to attain more Naishkarmyam, that is actionless state, what is the use of this karma arambha, that is commencing any action, or say practicing any particular course, practicing any ritual or performing any ritual? Where is the need? So that is the question. Ida prapte ata aha nacha sanyasanadeva iti. So he is coming to the next line. So all this bhashyam is regarding the first line. Na karmana manarambhat naishkarmyam purushosnute is the first line. The next line is nacha sanyasanadeva. By merely renouncing action, you will not get siddhi. That's siddhi madhigacchati. You will not attain, say that the state of jnana. That is what is the second line. So that second line he is explaining. Nacha sanyasanadeva iti. Okay. Napi sanyasanadeva kevalat karma parityaga matradeva ज्ञान रहितात् सिद्धिं नैष्कर्म्य लक्षणां ज्ञान योगेन निष्ठां समधिगच्छति न प्राप्नोति. So nahi sanyasanadeva, na has to be added to samadhigacchati. Na samadhigacchati, na prapnoti. So napi sanyasanad eva. That eva means merely. Merely by sannyasa, merely by renunciation, merely by renouncing the duty which is enjoined on you by dharma, let us say, not society. Society means only law. Let us say dharma. By merely renouncing that action, kevalat karma parityaga matra deva. Kevalat karma parityaga matra. By merely renouncing, say not doing, avoiding it. What type of is it? Jnana rahitat. Jnana rahitat, if it is not, say, having jnana, if it is not associated with jnana. You can abandon karmas if you are having jnana. If you are already there in jnana nishtha, you can abandon karma. But if you are not there in jnana nishtha, you cannot abandon karma. So that is the meaning here. Kevalat karma parityaga matra deva jnana rahitat. By that is a karma parityaga bereft of jnana. Karma parityaga, that is abandoning of action, bereft of jnana. So if you are having jnana, okay, you are in a higher level, you can give up karma. But if you are not having jnana, you cannot give up karma. So this we have to very clearly keep in mind. The first option is the jnana path. But all people may not be mentally equipped. All people may not be having that maturity. All people might not have undergone that self-discipline which is contemplated in that sadhana chatushtaya, that nitya vastu viveka, sadhana shamadhi shatka sampatti and all those things. All those people, all of us, we might not have gone through that. So for all of us who have not gone through that, who have not attained the discipline, that indriya jaya, manojaya and whatnot, for all of us, then what is the next course? The next course is to do the duty and do it in such a way that you will not get bound and entangled in that. You do it in such a way that becomes a tool for you to freedom. Karma, the very karma which is of binding in nature, it will help you to liberate. It will help you to get out of that karma, the clutches of karma. And I was telling this sloka from Bhagavatam also. What is that thing? Karma mokshaya karmani vidhatte hyagadam yatha. Karma mokshaya karmani vidhatte. So the scripture, what it is doing is, scripture is say putting on you some duties or enjoined on you some duties in order to get out of these duties. In order to get out from karma, scripture is prescribing some karma. You follow that? So that is the subtle point here. So for all of us who are not at that level, for all of us who have not attained that level, we have to jolly well do karma and do it in such a way that it does not bind us. So that is it. Kevala karma parityaga matra deva jnana rahitat siddhim. So he is explaining the word siddhi. What is siddhi? Naishkarmya lakshana. Siddhi is that which is characterized by that state of actionlessness. So that is attained in two ways. One is by jnana and one is by totally nishkama karma. So nishkama karma that we are going to see. Then jnana yogena nishtam samadhi gacchati na prapnoti. That jnana yogena nishtha, that is totally settling down in that jnana nishtha, that he will not attain by mere sannyasa na samadhigacchati na prapnoti. He will not attain. So that is the meaning here. So here ends the third shloka. So fourth shloka. Next line. Kasmat punaha karanat karma sannyasa matradeva jnana rahitat jnana rahitat. Yes. Siddhim naishkarmya lakshanam purushah nadhigacchati iti hetvakankszayam aha. So he is telling the reason. He is telling the reason why by merely giving up sannyasa, giving up karma, you will not attain moksha. By merely giving up karma, where you are not yet in that jnana path, jnana rahit, karma sannyasa matra deva jnana rahitat. That is karma sannyasa bereft of jnana. You can catch this word, karma sannyasa, which is bereft of jnana. By that, by merely doing that, you will not attain moksha. So that was what was said. Kasmat punaha karanat. For what reason? Karma sannyasa matra deva jnana rahitat. By karma sannyasa, which is bereft of jnana. Siddhim naishkarmya lakshanam. Siddhi, naishkarmya lakshana, that is characterized by this actionless state. Purushaha na adhigacchati. A person does not attain. Iti het vakankszayam. That is, upon the query as to what is the reason. On the query that what is the reason for why are you saying like that? For that, he is giving a reason. Say who? Sage Vyasa. Here, of course, Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is giving the reason why it is not possible. Because there should be some compelling reason. There should be some very, very strong reason why you will not attain. you will not attain that moksha or attain that jnananishta by merely giving up sannyasa. So he is giving some reason in the next shloka. Let us read this shloka. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krut karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakrutijair gunaihi. So he is giving some points here. So there are some points which he is mentioning here. This particular shloka also refers to the plight of an ajnani. It is not referring to the plight of a jnani. A jnani, he is above this karma level. So this shloka is referring to the plight of an ajnani. Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krut. So a person, not even for a minute, can he keep idle? Can he keep without doing any action? Na jatu, this nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu, na jatu. This na has to be added to this jatu. Usually in Sanskrit idiom, na jatu, it says. Na jatu means never, not at any point of time. Na jatu means not at any point of time. Kaschit, a person, kshanamapi tishtati akarmakrut. Akarmakrut means a person who does not do any work. Karmakrut is a person who does karma. Akarmakrut is a person who does not do karma. So, nahi kaschit kshanamapi tishtati. Kshanamapi means even for a moment. Even for a moment, a person at any point of time, he will never sit. So that means he continues to do work as though, say, forced by something. What is that thing? Karyate yavashaha karma sarvaha prakrutijair gunaihi. Sarvaha, every person. Sarvaha, the word sarva means everybody. Prakrutijaihi gunaihi. By these three gunas which have originated from this prakriti or which are seen in this prakriti. We know those three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. These three gunas are there. These are the things which propel a man. These are the things which force a man, induce a man, not even induce, force a man into action. So, sarvaha, every man, prakrutijair gunaihi, by these three forces, by these three tendencies, let us say, by these three gunas, then avashaha karma karyate. Avashaha means he is not under his control. He is not, vasha is what is vasham? Vasham is control. Avasha is, he is not in his own control. He is under the control of the gunas. He is not in his own control. Avashaha karma karyate. He is made to do karma. He is made to do something or the other. So by these three natures, even a good man cannot keep quiet. He will go to some Ramakrishna Math, or he will go to some other Math, and then he will try to do read something, he will try to do some good work, he will try to donate some money for some good cause, whatever he feels as a good cause. So like that, a good man cannot keep quiet. Similarly, a person with Rajoguna, what is that Rajoguna? Every time you want to dominate, you want to control, you want to acquire more and more things. So even after retirement, people would hanker for some job. They would be moving around the chief minister and everybody or prime minister, and then they will be trying to get hold of some job, and then they would like to boss over something. They would like bigger and bigger establishments, and then maybe some of them they would like to acquire some money also. So that is Rajoguna. Tamoguna, a fellow who would like to harm others. All those Tamoguna characters, some sloth and sometimes physical indulgence in physical pleasures and all those things, they come under Tamoguna, including violence. All this Rakshasa Pravrutti also comes under Tamoguna. So on one side you have this serene, pure, calm nature of Sattva-guna. The other thing is acquisitive and then say domineering nature of the Rajoguna. The other side is say sometimes indulgence, violence and all those things as Tamoguna. So these three gunas, they force a person. These three gunas, they are not, there is a mixture of these three gunas in every man. A person, he has a mixture of all the three gunas. It is not as though one man is having pure sattva, one man is having pure rajas, one man is having pure tamoguna. It's not like that. Sometimes suddenly the sattva guna in a very bad fellow can be, suddenly it may be ignited. Sometimes if you read that Buddha's stories, the famous dacoit Ajamila, he has an encounter with Buddha, and after his encounter with Buddha he becomes a sage. He totally turns into a totally different thing. That means till that time that guna was very, very predominant in him, and after that there was a immediate change in him. So the sattva guna can be say kindled at any time. Then this tamoguna, from tamoguna a sattva-guna can be kindled. A rajoguna fellow can come to sattva-guna. A sattva-guna fellow can fall into the other nature. So we see such examples also. People say in this sattva-guna, some rishi's son or somebody, he falls into some other nature. So such things we see. So there is a mixture of these three gunas, and these three gunas, they propel a man, they compel a man into action. So nahi, if you see the words, na he, na plus na is different, he is different. Na he, kaschit kshanamapi, kshanam api, jatu, na jatu, not at any time, never. Tishtati akarmakrut. He will not sit, not doing any action. Then karyate means he is propelled. This is in a karmani prayoga, it is in a passive voice. Karyate, he is made to do. Karyate means he does not mean kurute. Kurute is different. Kurute means he does. Karyate is he is made to do. Karyate, he avashaha. Hyavashaha is he plus avashaha, hyavashaha. Karma, sarvaha, every man. Prakrutijaihi gunaihi. By the gunas, by the three gunas which are the creation of this prakriti. So let us see this Shankaracharya's words. So in this shloka also, say there are 2 points. This Arjuna is number one, he is not eligible for karma sannyasa. That is the basic conclusion here, because he is one person who is under the influence of these three gunas. Only a jnani can get over these three gunas, and all other people cannot get over these gunas. So let us read this bhashyam. Kasmat punaha karanat karma sannyasa. Okay. Nahi yasmat kshanamapi kalam jatu kadachit kaschit tishtati akarmakrut san. Okay, every word Shankaracharya sometimes explains. Say nahi yasmat, because kshanamapi kalam, even for a minute. Kshanamapi kalam means even for a minute. Jatu kadachit, at any time. Na jatu, not at any time. Kaschit, any person. Kaschit means any person. Kshanamapi, kaschit tishtati akarmakrut. Akarmakrut tishtati means he does not stay. Tishtati means sitting, not sitting. Tishta, usually we say sitting. Tishtati means stays. It doesn't mean sitting or something like stays. Tishtati akarmakrut. A man does not stay even for a minute without doing a work, without doing something or the other. Tishtati akarmakrut. Akarmakrut I explained to you. Then kasmat karyate hi yasmat avashaha eva
अवशः एव
कर्म सर्वः प्राणी
कर्म सर्वः प्राणी
प्रकृतिजैः प्रकृतितः जातैः सत्त्वरजस्तमोभिगुणैः तमोभिर्गुणैः अज्ञ इति वाक्यशेषः. ओहो, ओके, फाइन. कस्मात्, why? कार्यते he means yasmat, because कार्यते, he is made to do. How? Avashah, helpless. He is totally helpless. He is not in his own control. Then under whose control is he? He is under the control of these three gunas. Avashah, avashah eva karma sarvah prani. Every being. Prani not only refers to human being, it refers to all animals, all beings. Sarvah prani. Prakrutijaihi gunaihi. Prakrutijaihi means prakrutitah jataihi. The gunas which are born out of Prakriti. Prakriti, we know. What is that Prakriti? Prakriti is the same as Maya. Maya and Prakriti, that is a manifestation in the Brahman. Brahman, this Siddhanta, we have to remember the doctrine. Brahma is totally above this function of creation and everything. What we call creator or creatrix, whatever it is Maya. Maya is a type of Shakti or a power or energy which manifests in Brahman, which is there in Brahman all the time. And because of that, there is some appearance or this projection of this world. In fact, Vedantins say Maya Kalpita. It is a sort of projection. This world is a projection. And in this projection, this projection happens because of the Sattva, Rajas and Tamo gunas. So that is the Siddhanta. So Prakriti means that Maya Shakti, which we are referring to. And the same Prakriti you refer to God, you refer to this you refer to it as creator. You give a name like Vishnu, you give a name like Shiva, you give a name like Ganesha, you give a name like say any other name. You give a name or you need not even give a name. So you give a name and form, it becomes a Sakara and Saguna. You give a name and no form, it becomes Nirakara and Saguna. But then Brahman is above this. It is Nirakara and Nirguna, nothing to do with this creation also. So anyway, karma sarvasya prani prakriti jaihi jataihi. Prakriti is that Maya Shakti. Then in that Maya, that sattva rajas tamobhihi gunaihi. So that is by the three gunas I just explained. Then this next point is very important. Ajnaha iti vakya sheshaha. Ajna is, what is it? Ignorant man. Ajna means ignorant. This ignorant man, ignorant means what? A person who doesn't have that Brahma Jnana, who doesn't have that self-knowledge. Ajna does not mean anything else. He may be a scholar in mathematics or anything, but then he has not done this self-enquiry. He has not done this self-realization. So that person is Ajna. In all Vedanta, whenever we say ignorant man, we are not referring to a fool on the road. We are referring to somebody who has not done this self-enquiry. That's all. He may be a scholar in his own right. So, Ajnaha iti vakyashesha. Why is it important? Karyate hyavashah karma sarvaha. Sarvaha means everybody, which means Ajna iti vakyashesha means which we have to presume. Vakyashesha is something which is not there in that sentence, but we have to take that meaning and fill up the sentence. Vakyashesha. Shesha is what? Something which is remaining. That remaining unsaid portion, let us say, that unsaid portion is Ajna. What is the unsaid portion is Ajna. Sarvaha means we should say Ajna, which means this whole sloka is told in the context of an Ajnani. Ajnani means a person who is not a self-realized person. You follow that? So, what is the implication for Arjuna? The implication for Arjuna is he cannot do karma sannyasa, because earlier he was proposing to do karma sannyasa. So, the implication is you have not graduated to that level. If you graduate to that level only, you can do karma sannyasa. Otherwise, you have to do whatever is the duty ordained to you. So, in fact, it is good news for all of us. Good news for all of us that we can do all karma. You can do all types of pujas, you can do all types of rituals and whatnot. So, this is also one way. It is an exemption to all of us till we graduate to that level. So, next line. कर्म अज्ञः इति वाक्यशेषः यतो वक्ष्यति गुणैः यो न विचाल्यते इति. Okay, this yato vakshyati, he is going to say. Vakshyati means he is going to say, that is future tense. Future tense, vakshyati gunaihi yaha na vichalyate iti. He is going to come in future, he is going to come ahead. Gunaihi yo na vichalyate. Because a jnani, he will not be shattered, he will not be shaken by these gunas. Only ajna, he is saying the ajna iti vakya shesha. Because why? How can you take this meaning? Somebody can question Shankaracharya, you are putting words into the mouth of Lord Krishna. Not like that. Krishna he is going to say ahead, he is going to say in the future shlokas, what? Gunaihi yo na vichalyate. A jnani will not be shaken, a jnani will not be influenced by these gunas. So it is not my word, I am not putting any words into the mouth of Lord Krishna. It is what Krishna himself is going to say. From what Krishna is saying here and from what Krishna is going to say ahead, we have to take the meaning in that particular context. So that is the thing. Shankaracharya says, I am not giving my own interpretation. Lord Krishna himself is going to say this. Gunaihi no yona vichalyate iti. Sankhyanam pruthak karanat ajnanam eva hi karma yogaha na jnaninam. Sankhyanam pruthak karanat. They have been separated. Sankhyaha. Sankhyaha means jnanis. Sankhyaha jnanis. Sankhyanam pruthak karanat. Pruthak is separate. Pruthak karanam is separation. Keeping them separate. I say keeping them separately. Sankhyanam pruthak karanat means by totally distinguishing them into a different class. By totally distinguishing them into a different and higher class, then pruthak karanat. Ajnananaimahi karma yogaha. Ajnanam means for all these ignorant people, for those who have not done self-enquiry. Karma yoga is for all those who have not done self-enquiry. Karma yoga is for those who have not looked into themselves, who are only looking outwards. So for those people, karma yoga is there, na jnaninam. So he repeatedly emphasizing, not for jnanis. Is it clear?
Yes.
Next line, jnaninam tu gunaihi achalyamananam swatah chalanabhavat karmayogaha nopapadyate. Yes, this is again emphasizing. Jnaninam tu. Tu means on the other hand. Jnaninam, for in the context of jnanis, gunaihi achalyamananam. What type of jnanis are they? Gunaihi achalyamanaha. Chalyamana is somebody who can be shaken, somebody who can be moved. Achalyamana means the fellow who cannot be moved at all. The fellow is standing firm and then you can't even push him. So that is gunaihi achalyamananam. That is the person who cannot be moved by these three gunas. All these gunas come and go, but this man is stable. So that is it. Gunaihi achalyamananam swataha chalanabhavat, because there is no action from their side. Chalana abhavat. There is no action from their side. There is no. When will there be action? Action will be there only when the feeling of self is there, the feeling of I is there. I have to do something. I have to do some good, bad, or ugly, whatever it is. Even a good man is required for society. Bad man, of course, may not be required, but he is there. We have to put up with him. So a good man, okay, he feels he has to do something good. But a jnani, he doesn't have that feeling of I. A jnani, if he is a king, he may be incidentally doing good because of his prarabdha karma. Like Rama and Janaka and Krishna and all those people. He may be doing good, he may be doing his job in a very, very judicious way, and he will be a better ruler. He will be a better ruler. A jnani will be a better ruler. If you remember the story of Shankaracharya, of course, we cannot give 100% credibility to that story because Shankaracharya's bhaktas must have included it in Shankara Vijayam. There is a book called Shankara Vijayam. Have you seen that book? There is a book called Shankara Vijayam, of course. There, some miracles are also attributed to Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is basically a philosopher. Shankaracharya is mainly a philosopher who, say, consolidated all this thought, and then he was in fact, at his own time, he was a sort of social reformer and a sort of revolutionary. But then now the tendency of human beings is that we also start worshipping them. You go to a revolutionary, and that revolutionary, you create an idol for him, and then you start worshipping him. That is human nature. So we have attributed some stories to him. So the story is that Shankaracharya at one point of time he had an argument with that Mandana Mishra and then his wife called Ubhaya Bharati. So Mandana Mishra was a Mimamsaka who was steeped in all these rituals and whatnot. So after a prolonged argument and all that, he defeated Mandana Mishra in all these arguments. Defeated means he convinced them that his line of thinking was wrong. Then this Ubhaya Bharati, the wife of this person, so people say that you are a Sarvajna. Yes, Sarvajna. Sarvajna means all-knowing. Then she wanted to put some questions in Kama Shastra. You know, Kama Shastra is something to do with, say, the man-woman relationship, a physical human relationship between a man and woman. Kama Shastra, you must be knowing. So she wanted to put that questions in Kama Shastra. Then Shankaracharya, in his role or in his capacity as a sadhu or a sannyasi, he should not, that is not his sannyasi dharma. So he seeks some time and then he goes into the body of a ruler. There is a story like that. As I said, we should not give full credibility to that story. We have to take it only with a pinch of salt. So Shankaracharya goes into the body of that ruler. At that time, incidentally, some king died, and then so Shankaracharya went into the body of that ruler. Then he became the king, and then he was having say family relationship with all the wives of the king. The king had several wives, and then this man was also enjoying. Then subsequently he left that body, came back and answered. So something like that story goes. But the point which I was going to say is that gunaihi achalyamananam swataha chalanabhavat. So this Jnani, he has no feeling of I. And then at that time, Shankara, I told this story because Shankara, when he was a king, then there was a marked difference between this king and the earlier king. Earlier king was a type of stupid fellow who was not judicious, who was not so wise. But this king, he was so wise, and then he was ruling the kingdom in such a beautiful way. So that in that context only I told this story. So a king can be a person who is a wise man. A king can be a jnani. So we are not talking about those people. We are talking about the jnanis who are karma sannyasis. So that is it. Gunaihi achalyamananam swataha chalanabhavat karma yogaha na upapadyate. Karma yoga does not suit them. Next line. Tathacha vyakhyatam veda vinashinam ityatra. So like in the same manner, tathacha vyakhyatam, it has already been very elaborately commented, where that veda vinashinam nityam yayena majam avyayam katham sa purushah partha kam ghatayati hantikam. That is second adhyaya. Shloka number is 21. So 2-21. Veda vinashinam nityam yayena majam avyayam katham sa purushah partha kam ghatayati hantikam. So the jnani, whom is he going to kill? Whom is he going to say cause to kill? So that is the shloka, where there is a very elaborate discussion which we saw. We need not go back to that. A very elaborate discussion showing that a jnani cannot do any karma which will affect him. So jnani may be doing karma, but that will not affect him because it is called a jnani karma. It has a special category. Follow? Okay, next line. Yastu anatmajnah choditam karma na arabhate iti tad asadeva ityaha. So let us see. So somebody is a jnani, he has done karma sannyasa, and somebody who is not a jnani, he also wants to do karma sannyasa. So that is incorrect. Tat asadeva. Asad means that is improper. We should not confuse with that sat and asat, which we talked in shloka number 16, 2-16, nasato vidyate bhavo. We should not compare with that. Tad asadeva. Asad means impossible, or not impossible, incorrect. Incorrect and something which is undesirable. So that is it. That is the meaning here. Yastu anatmagnya, one who is an anatmagnya, one who does not, who has no knowledge of the self. Choditam karma na arabhate. Choditam means prescribed. Chodita is prescribed by Shastra. Shastra choditam. Chodana means motivating a person, prompting a person. Chodana, in fact, the very definition of karma means chodana lakshanartho dharmaha. Dharma, the definition is Chodana Lakshanartha Dharma. That is, that which directs a man, that which prompts a person into activity, into some prescribed activity. That is what is Dharma. So, Choditam means something which has been prescribed. Choditam karma na arabhate. Somebody who doesn't want to start, tad asadeva. It is incorrect. That is wrong. So, that is what the shloka is going to say karmendriyani iti. Let us read this shloka. Karmendriyani samyamya
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
ya aste manasa smaran
य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
indriyarthan vimudhatma
विद्यार्थान् विमूढात्मा
mithyacharasya uchyate.
मिथ्याचारस्य उच्यते
Mithyacharasya, not mithyacharasya, mithyacharaha sa uchyate. Mithyacharasya uchyate.
मिथ्याचारस्य उच्यते
Okay. So now we are talking about somebody who forcibly wants to say sit idle, who forcibly wants to restrain himself, forcibly wants to isolate himself. Probably he keeps himself in some farmhouse or guest house or something like that, and then he wants to restrain himself. He wants to he is basically physically restraining. He is successfully physically restraining himself, but then his mind is wandering everywhere. He may go and physically stay in an ashram, like many of us do. Many people, they go and then sit in an ashram. But then after going to ashram also, his mind will be wandering. In fact, one commentator, Bellamkonda Ramarai Kavi, gives that example. He gives an example of somebody who with great determination, he goes and sits in an ashram. Then he starts thinking about what is happening in his village, whether all his relatives are safe, whether there is a proper division of property or not. So all those things he will be talking about, he will be thinking about. So that is what is the predicament which is described here in this shloka. Karmendriyani samyamya. Samyamya means having the restraint. Karmendriyani. What are these karmendriyas? We know there are two types of indriyas. One is jnanendriya and the other is a karmendriya. Jnanendriyas are the indriyas which give us knowledge, which have this indriyartha sannikarsha, which have a contact with the external objects and which give this knowledge to the mind. These are the things, these are the sensory, all the sensory perception is through jnanendriyas. The eye, the ear, the skin and this five jnanendriyas. The karmendriya is the conventionally 5 karmendriyas have been identified. That is vak, pani, pada, payu, upastha. Vak, pani, pada, payu, upastha. These 5 karmendriyas. Vak is voice. Pani, by voice also we affect people, we hurt people, we help people, we do all types of things through vak. So vak also is a karmendriya. Because vak, of course, the vak, you can appreciate that voice is a karmendriya because by vak you can either help people or harm people, you can do anything with voice. Then vak is one karmendriya. Pani, hand is one karmendriya. Pada, the leg is one karmendriya. Payu and upastha. Payu and upastha, the two, say one is for excretion and one is a genital. One is for excretion and the other is both excretion and genital. So these two things are called payu and upastha. These 5 indriyas are called karmendriyas. These are, we can say in English, we can say motor organs or something like that. These are the sense organs of one type. The first type of sense organ is called jnanendriya. The second type is karmendriya. So these karmendriyas, we do 5 different functions. 5 different functions as I just said. So these 5 karmendriyas can be restrained. Even this, say this karmendriyas, relating to sex, genital, even that can be restrained physically. So karmendriyani sanyamya, one who has restrained all these karmendriyas and then sits isolated in some place. So like long ago I saw there was a movie called what is that? Say the chastity belt. They used to wear some chastity belts. So chastity belt is to protect anybody from harming a woman. So that is that is a type of physical restraint. So karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasasmaran. But then what is he doing? Ya aste indriyarthan manasasmaran. This indriyarthan manasasmaran. He is recalling all those things. He is recalling what all he has done. When I was in service, I did like this. when I was in service, I was so powerful and I did all these things. So all these things he will be recalling and then telling all other people. So manasa smaran, yeah, aste means he exists. Manasa smaran aste. He keeps on remembering, he keeps on relishing all those old memories. So that type of person, he keeps on relishing, actually enjoying all those old memories. Then Indriyarthan Vimudhatma. Indriyarthan has to be connected to the first line. Manasa Indriyarthan Manasa Smaran. That Indriyarthan has to be taken to the first line. Indriyarthan Vimudhatma. He is actually a deluded person. Mithyacharaha sa uchyate. Vimudhatma. Mudhatma we know. Mudha is, what is it? Mudha is deluded. One who has moham is mudha. This moha and mudha are one and the same. From the word muhu only, moha and also mudha comes. Vimudhatma, Visheshena, that V, Upasarga, is adding to that moha. A highly deluded person. Simply if you say Mudhatma, deluded person. Vimudhatma means highly deluded person. He is a Vimudhatma, Mithyacharaha. He is a sort of hypocrite. He is somebody Mithya. Mithya is what? Only apparently it is there, but inwardly it is not there. Only apparently what all it appears like a nice fruit on the face of it, but if you open, there are all worms in that fruit. So that is the type. Mithyacharaha sa uchyate. You see the words karmendriyani, karma plus indriyani, karmendriyani, these 5 motor organs. Samyamya means sometimes some people call it samyamya, some people say sanyamya, but grammatically we are told that we have to say sanyamya. Whenever this when this full anuswara is there and then ya comes, so we have to say sanyamya. Sanyamya, ya aste means he stays. Manasa smaran. Ya aste, manasa smaran what? Indriyarthan manasa smaran. Indriyarthan, all these indriyarthas, the objects of senses, all the sensory objects, all the external objects, let us say, all the external objects, manasa smaran. He keeps on remembering. Smaran means remembering or recalling. All these things he keeps on recalling, what all he has done earlier, because he has already restrained himself. But then his mind is very active, his mind is very briskly going back into, what is that, flashback. There is a big flashback, and then that flashback gives you all the past experiences. So Indriyarthan Vimudhatma, he is a highly deluded person. Mithyacharaha sa uchyate. He is called a Mithyachara. Let us see what Shankaracharya says. Karmendriyani Hastadini Sanyamya Samhrutya Ya Aste Tishtati Manasa Smaran Chintayan Indriyarthan Vishayan Vimudhatma Vimudhantah Karanaha Mithyacharaha Papacharaha Sa Uchyate. So there ends the commentary, because in one line Shankaracharya has finished the commentary, because there is nothing much here. So here he says Karmendriyani Hastadini, Hasta etc. I explained to you what is this Hastadini. Sanyamya means Samhrutya. He has physically restrained, like that chastity belt I said, he has physically restrained all these Karmendriyas. Ya Aste Tishtati, a person who sits, a person who stays. Manasa Smaran, he is Chintayan. Manasa Smaran means Chintayan. He keeps on remembering, he keeps on recalling all those memories, all those things. Chintayan, Indriyarthan Vishayan. Indriyartha is, Indriya is, Indriyartha, Indriyartha is a sense object. All these sense objects, Vimudhatma, Vimudha Antahkaranaha. Atma here means Antahkarana. Atma we should not refer to that ultimate Atma. We should refer to Antahkarana. Vimudha Antahkarana. Because that Atma is never deluded. Atma only our own Atma, our own Antahkarana. Atma we give two different levels of meaning. One level is Antahkarana. The other level is that supreme level. This level is only this Antahkarana. Antahkarana means what is that? The mind. Whatever we call the mind and senses put together, that is the Antahkarana. So Antahkarana, Vimudha Antahkarana, Mithyachara, Mrushachara. He is called the Mithyachara or a Mrushachara. Mrusha also means false. Mithya also means false. Mrusha is false. Papachara sa uchyate. Papachara. That is a person who is indulging in all types of, say, it is actually undesirable. Papa means sin. Papachara, somebody who is, say, outwardly he is pretending to be something, but then inwardly he is something else, which is a totally undesirable thing. Mithyachara sa uchyate. So that is the meaning here. A person who, yeah, in fact, there is one shloka. Anyway, okay, let us go to the next shloka. Yastviti. Yastvindriyani manasa. Niyamyarabhate Arjuna. Karmendriyaih karmayogam. Asaktasya vishishyate. Okay, yastu indriyani manasa niyamya. The person, yaha tu, that is on the other hand. Tu is on the other hand. Ya plus tu, yastu. On the other hand, a person, indriyani manasa niyamya. He is restraining. He is a person who is slightly above that level earlier described, and then he is able to restrain all these indriyas by mind. Indriyas means this Madhusudana Saraswati gives the meaning Jnanendriyani, Karmendriyani, Indriyani, Jnanendriyani, Shrotradini. So it is not enough if you restrain your motor organs. You have to restrain your mind and say the other organs also. The same Jnanendriyas. You have to restrain your Jnanendriyas. That is more important than restraining the Karmendriyas. So the mind should be controlled first. The mind is the thing which is the boss of all these things. In fact, that mind has to be controlled. So that mind, Manasa Niyamya, he controls them by the mind. Manasa Niyamya, Arabhate Arjuna. He starts. Hey Arjuna is the say address. Arabhate. What does he start? Karma Yogam. The next line says Karmendriyahi Karma Yogam Arabhate. The Anvaya is Karmendriyahi Karma Yogam Arabhate. Manasa Niyamya means having restrained these indriyas by mind. Karmendriyahi Karma Yogam Arabhate. By these Karmendriyas, Karma Yogam Arabhate. He starts implementing that Karma Yoga. So that is it. Asaktaha. How does he do that? Asaktaha means without any attachment. Sakti is attachment. Sangha, the word Sangha we know. Asanga. Sangha is attachment. Sakta is somebody who is having that attachment. Sakti is attachment again. Saktaha is a person who has attachment. Asaktaha means a person who does not have that attachment. Asaktaha sa vishishyate. That is basically talking about this nishkama karma. He is not hankering for the fruit of that action. So he is doing it as a duty. He is doing it as an order from the Lord. He is doing it as an offering to the Lord. So that is the type of person. So you see the words Yaha tu yastu yastvindriyani. We have to say yastvindriyani is Yaha tu plus indriyani. Yastvindriyani manasa niyamya. Manasa niyamya means by the manasa. Manasa is tritiya ekavachanam. By manas, or by the mind. Niyamya means having restrained. Arabhate. This arabhate has to go to the next line. Karmendriyahi karma yogam arabhate. Karma yoga arabhate means he commences karma yoga by karmendriyas. Hey Arjuna, asaktas son. That is by being somebody who is unattached, by being unattached to the fruit of karma. Sa vishishyate. He actually excels. Vishishyate means he excels. He is superior. So that is the meaning here. Let us see the meaning. Yastu punaha karmanyadhikrutaha Ajñah buddhindriyani manasa niyamya arabhate Arjuna karmendriyaihi vakpanyadibhihi kim arabhate ityaha karmayogam asaktaha san sa vishishyate itarasmat mithyacharat. So here the point is like this. This shloka is also for an ajnani. This is not for a jnani. So a person, 5 minutes, okay. A person who does nishkama karma is also not in that jnana level. Jnana level is the highest. A person who does nishkama karma, he is better than the other fellow who is doing that kamya karma. Who is doing that kamya karma for himself, for his own gratification and whatnot he is doing. So this person who does nishkama karma, he is better than that man. So that is the picture here. So this shloka is also talking about ajnani, but a sadachari. In fact, Anandagiri gives this word. Sadachara is the word used by Anandagiri. Vihitam anutishtatasya anutishtatah tasyaiva phalabhilasha vikalasya sadacharattvena vaishishyam. Because it is a sadachara. The earlier fellow was a mithyachara. This chap is a sadachari. He is doing his job, a prescribed job, in a prescribed manner. What is that prescribed manner? Without any attachment, without any sense of attachment. So that is the thing here. So both jnanendriyas and karmendriyas have to be restrained by mind. This is one point here. Manasa niyamya. This is possible only when the mind becomes nishkama. At what time can you become manasa niyamya? How can you control unless the mind itself become a nishkama, unless you have attained some little bit of say maturity or some little bit of say nityanitya vishaya viveka. You are not fully qualified for that jnana, but some element, at some level you have got some nityanitya vastu viveka. So this person, this type of person is superior to a mithyachara. So the subject here is a person who is in the jnana path, who is not fully gone into the jnana path, who wants to go into the jnana path. He is called a mumukshu. Moksha Ichha, a person who is having that, who is having his eye on that ultimate goal, but then right now he is not in that jnana nishtha, but then he is using this nishtha. He knows that his final goal is that moksha. So for that reason, he is performing this karma yoga as a sort of sadhana. So that is the point here. So yastu punaha karmanya adhikrutaha ajnaha. So Shankaracharya is again using that word ajna. Ajna is ignorant person. Karmani adhikrutaha. Adhikrutaha means, adhikrutaha, you know what is this adhikari? What is adhikari? Adhikari is a person who is enjoined on, say something is enjoined on him. He is an adhikari. He is ordained to, something is prescribed to him. Something has been enjoined on him. That, okay, a Brahmana, this is his role. Everybody has a role in the society. So this person, he has a role. Kshatriya, you have got a role. In the case of Arjuna, he is enjoined, the duty enjoined on him is, Kshatriya, he is supposed to maintain order in the society. He is supposed to control evil. He is supposed to eradicate evil. And then if necessary for that, he has to do this yuddha. He has to do this war. So this yuddham is something which is a niyata karma for him, which is a prescribed karma for him. So that is what he is going to say. Karmani adhikrutaha, one who is entitled to do this karma. Ajnaha, so the subject matter he is again clarifying. Ajnaha, buddhindriyani manasa niyamya. So buddhindriyani he is also clarifying. Buddhindriyani, he is clarifying that they are all the jnanendriyas. Jnanendriyas, manasa niyamya, having restrained by the mind. Arjuna, hey Arjuna, karmendriyahi vakpanyadhibihi, then you have to do karma yoga through karmendriya only. By jnanendriya you have to restrain, and karmendriya you have to use to do karma yoga. After all, when you want to help others, you have to help through some karmendriya only. You can't help only through mind. You have to help through some karmendriya. Whatever thing you think, it has to be translated into action through karmendriyas. So through this karmendriyahi vak panyadhibihi, vak panipada payu, I said all those things. Kim arabhate ityaha, what does he start? Karma yogam. He starts karma yogam. Karma yogam is there in the second line. Karmendriyahi karma yogam arabhate. So he starts this karma yogam. Asaktaha san I explained, that is without any say attachment. Sa vishishyate itarasmat mithyacharat. So this person excels. This person is superior to the other one. Itarasmat mithyacharat. He is superior to that other fellow who is a mithyachari. There are two, three types of people whom we have seen. A fellow who is indulging in all types of karmas, unrestrained, that is a different character. A person who is indulging only in kamya karmas, but then he is basically indulging in for self-aggrandizement. Another person is forcibly restraining himself and keeping away, but then he is mentally he is indulging in all those things. So he is a mithyachara. Then there is another level where this man, he is doing action, whatever is the prescribed action, but then he is not attaching himself to that. So this is the path which is advocated in Gita. All other levels, they are discarded. This is the path which is advocated in the Gita. So itarasmad mithyacharat savishishyate. He is the man who excels. So that is the final recommendation here. So let us see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.